I've been investing in individual stocks for well north of a decade. I've used a variety of stock research websites, tools, but never have I been as excited as I am today since I've been using the platform Simply Wall Street. Without a doubt, the best stock analysis and research platform that I've ever used because it's simple, visual, and comprehensive. And if you're anything like me where you enjoy investing but you simply don't have all the time in the world to go and research different stocks from all these different sources, this is exactly the platform that you need. And in this video, I'll demo a little bit of it for you and share with you exactly why you might want to use this as well to make well-informed investing decisions. So stay tuned. Hey folks, Richard Walls here, helping you with career development and personal finance. And if either of those two topics are of interest to you, then make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new videos. And of course, if you like what you see, go ahead and also hit the like button down below. So with that said, let's get to it. When it comes to investing in stocks, especially for those of you that have busy lives and investing is not a full-time job for you, there are a couple of approaches you can take to get a good return from the market without actually having to spend a lot of time. First way is to simply invest in an S&P 500 index fund. This is more or less a set it and forget it approach. And over the last 100 years or so, the S&P 500 has returned on average about 10% per year. But maybe you want to beat that. Maybe you want returns that are greater than what the market average is returning. While over the long term it is quite difficult to beat the market, there are tools and information out there that can help you improve your chances of seeing outsized returns. And ultimately, you'll be in a better position to pick the right stocks that fit your investment style and your financial goals. So the second approach is, as I just alluded to, is to buy individual stocks. And you might think it takes a ton of time to do all the research involved with making an informed investment decision. And guess what? You'd be right. If we were living in the 90s. Folks, it's 2022 as of the making of this video, and we've come a long way in terms of how available information is on stocks. And we've seen quite the evolution of the information that's shared online and the manner in which it is shared. But there's usually shortcomings when it comes to certain websites, tools, or platforms. Many of them are quite comprehensive. They give you all the information you need. It's just not very user-friendly. And some are very user-friendly and simple, but it doesn't give you a complete picture of a stock. And in any case, you'd spend a lot of time going into different independent resources to get all this information that you need. I mean, it really is a huge waste of time when really what you could be doing is spending time hitting the like button at the bottom of this video. That's a really good investment for everyone here involved. Fortunately, there's a better way to help you make informed investing decisions without it being your 24/7 job. And that's through a platform called Simply Wall Street, which is simple, visual, and comprehensive all in one. This platform is available as a website, of course, which is what I use, but there's also an app if mobile is more your style. And I'll talk about the app another time. Everything that I'll be showing you here today is going to be on my computer because, I need a big monitor to make all these important decisions. But here in a moment, we'll check out some of the key features of this platform that I really enjoy. And as I go through it, be sure to check the description down below. I've got an exclusive link for my audience that's going to get you a free 14-day trial subscription of this service where you can have basically unlimited access to this tool. It's the unlimited plan. You can research as many stocks as you want. Now let's get to my computer and I'll show you the platform. So for starters, you've got a home page when you arrive for the first time to it's actually simplywall.st, Simply Wall Street. When you arrive for the first time, you'll get a lot of your news feed. It's going to be generalized, but the more you use it, the more you use the platform to research certain stocks, more of this news feed, more of the information that you see around this, when you look at some of the metrics over here on the left or on the right, it will become more personalized. But really, where the magic comes in is whenever you do stock research. So that's what we're going to be focused on the rest of this video. So for starters, we're going to look up a stock that is, I'm sure, on everyone's mind all the time. It certainly is on mine, and it's one of my investments that has done quite well for me, and I know it's done quite well for a lot of folks. And that stock is Tesla. So we're going to go ahead and look that up. At the top of this page, you'll have a search bar, and you'll be able to type in the name of the company or the stock symbol if you've got it. That's TSLA for Tesla. Company shows up. And on this platform, by the way, you've got about 150,000, or at least that's what's advertised, 150,000 companies you could potentially research globally. And so there's other companies that are in my portfolio that I have that are companies based out of Canada and Australia and different parts of the world. So whenever you pull up Tesla for the first time, this is what you see. And without even scrolling down, you get at a high level a pretty comprehensive view of the company. Of course, you got your basic information like last price, market cap, 7-day return, 1-year return, and kind of blends in with the background a little bit, but you've got a very basic trend chart of the stock price. But the best part of this platform is what they call a Snowflake analysis. And really, this looks at 5 areas of a company: dividend, value, future, past, and health. So in other words, what are the characteristics of this stock or of this company, and in which direction does it lean the most based on financial performance, based on its valuation, based on other health metrics? And when we look at a company like Tesla, for example, this Snowflake analysis is pretty accurate because it's looking at the past performance, which has been exceptionally good, and even better in the more recent past, where you've had Tesla have multiple quarters of positive net income. Future prospects are also extraordinarily strong. Again, this is one of the most valuable companies in the world, and a lot of that valuation is coming with the expectation of what Tesla can do in the future. So there's a lot of the valuation index on what the future holds for the company. And the health is also another interesting thing. I don't think the health would have been as strong a number of years back because, again, it was running every quarter was negative cash flow, or they were spending a lot of money, obviously, to get to the point that they're at today. But the health today is quite a bit better. I don't know that it's necessarily be a 6 out of 6. Each one of these areas, by the way, there are different checks that they do on the back end to analyze how well indexed they are in any one of these areas. And again, you can click into one of these, for example, future. If I want to click into that, it can show me some of the metrics that Simply Wall Street is looking at and taking into consideration when measuring how indexed this company is on future growth potential. And then, of course, when you look at dividend, Tesla has not paid a dividend, and they currently are not paying a dividend, so there's nothing there. And when it comes to valuation, really the question here it's asking, is the company undervalued compared to its fair value in peers? Really, no, it's quite overvalued. And that's been the story of Tesla almost since inception, is that it's been overvalued compared to the assets that they have on the books, compared to the revenue that they're bringing in, and compared to other peers in the industry. Now, obviously with Tesla, it's a much more complicated story. It's not just auto manufacturers, it's a lot of other things they're competing with. But in the traditional sense, what Simply Wall Street is comparing are some of the competitors in the auto industry. So you look at Ford and General Motors and Rivian, that would be a closer competitor. But this is Tesla. This is a relatively new company, but let's look at what this analysis looks like when you go to a competitor like Ford. And of course, you can select that pretty easily. It gives you the competitors right here. When you click into Ford, you'll see that this Snowflake analysis is substantially different. They do offer a dividend. They've offered a dividend for a long time. They paused it for a number of quarters. They recently reinstated it. So you have that here. And part of one of the checks that they do with dividend is what is its history with paying a dividend? What's the consistency, and how often have they increased the dividend that they pay? So So this all factors into it. The valuation or the value here, is it fairly valued? In this case, it is. The price of the stock is not as crazy as what it would be with Tesla. Ford has had a past of consistent revenue growth. As far as health goes, I would have expected this check to be a little bit better for Ford. Ford, out of all the legacy automakers, has been one of the more stable, I would say. When you look at the 2008 recession and the automakers that required a government bailout to continue their operations, Ford, they took the bailout, but they actually didn't really need the money. It just happened to be there and be available, so why not take it? But they actually repaid everything in full. There wasn't as much risk. They actually didn't even go into bankruptcy like it was the case with GM. I would have ranked financial health a little bit higher, but I'm sure if you looked into it, they would look at debt level, long-term liabilities. Yes, those are going to be high, and I think they took a good amount of debt during 2020 as well. To continue operations, there's a lot of other stuff going on at that time. You'll also see ExxonMobil as an example. It's another one of my holdings that also have significant debt levels. So that seems to be why they're ranking financial health a little bit lower. But all that to say is the Snowflake analysis shows here, compared to a Tesla, that the valuation here is really a function of their dividend, their health, their past performance, and the valuation is fairly reasonable. It's not terribly overpriced. But nonetheless, this analysis, as is the case with really any analysis, not always going to be perfect. It's simply one way of looking at a company. And I think this is perfectly fine. This is a good analysis. And again, you can go into these details and come to your own conclusion, come to your own decision as to, do you agree with this analysis? Now, I'm not going to get into many more specifics here, but just know that for each one of these areas, there are about 6 checks that Simply Wall Street does that you can look into to understand why the score is what it is for a particular stock. So I'll stop there. There's more that you can investigate on your own and more that I'll cover in future videos. But the other feature I want to talk about is the ability to build a portfolio. And I've actually got one already started. If you go to the top, you can actually go to, I'm going to go to portfolio. Here you can create a new portfolio. I've got one that's simply a test, and it's actually all my holdings, but just wanted to show you what the test looked like. You're to build one from scratch. So when you go to create a portfolio, you can start with obviously creating portfolio name. I'm just going to make something up there. Next is, do you want to create just a watch list? If you're just looking at stocks to possibly invest in, then this is a good thing to start with, to create a watch list of just stocks that you want to follow. You can also do this with your current holdings or your own personal portfolio where you've had transactions. You can load all of those transactions. You can load that portfolio into Simply Wall Street, and you can track in real time and in real life what your gains are, losses, and any transactions that might have happened. You can capture that here. Cool thing is, I'm going to just focus on building a watch list just so you get an idea of what happens. And this is extremely cool. You realize with all the different stocks, they have their own Snowflake analysis. There's different parts or different characteristics of the stock where the value is indexed on. Now, when you have a collection of stocks, you have a portfolio now, you get a custom Snowflake analysis for the entirety of your watch list or of your portfolio. So instead of it being just one stock, this is now reflective of the entirety of your portfolio, which is really unique. And depending on your investing style and preferences and financial goals, you may realize, well, maybe the list of stocks that I'm watching for, the portfolio that I am currently holding, maybe it's weighted a little bit too much in the quote-unquote healthy stocks. Maybe I'm not allowing a little bit more risk. I don't have stocks that are really forward-looking or have a lot of growth potential. Or maybe you're looking for a lot more passive income and you realized, I'm not invested in a lot of dividend stocks. And I realized that the dividend portion of my my analysis is on the lower side. Maybe I want to look into stocks that will boost that figure. But as you remove stocks and as you add stocks, this analysis is going to change. I've got a number of companies in here. I'm going to take some of these out. Okay, so not as big as I thought, but nonetheless, you get the idea that this analysis changes dynamically with the stocks that you decide to add or remove. But really with the watch list, all you're getting is what this analysis looks like if you were to buy $1 worth of all these different stocks. So what it doesn't take into consideration is, in reality, obviously you're going to buy different quantities or different amounts of each stock. You're going to be maybe more heavily invested in XYZ stock instead of ABC stock, and that's going to produce a different analysis. So let me show you really quick what that actually looks like. And this is also an incredible feature too, because this will give you a true analysis of your existing portfolio. And I'm going to go to mine of just the individual stocks that I hold. All right, and here we are with my portfolio of all the companies that I own and the amounts that I own them. And what you're going to see is that pretty much all the companies are the same, virtually the same. I think one of them is different from the watch list that I was showing you a moment ago. But you'll see that the Snowflake analysis is dramatically different. I've got a lot of the value in Tesla and ExxonMobil. I've got a good amount also in some of the lithium mining companies, Coursera, and I've got, again, a very, very different split. So because of that, the Snowflake analysis is going to be really weighted in a certain direction. A little bit in dividends, a lot on health, a lot on future growth. So, and then in this case, it gives you a quick sentence or a quick recap of what the fundamentals are of your portfolio. And in this case, I've got a growth portfolio with an acceptable track record, which is fine. And then you also get your returns since inception. In this case, it was, I started, a number of buys in 2020, and that's the inception point that I have. I've got stocks from before that, but just looking at that set of stocks, what the total return has been over that period of time, and then what the dividend income has been also in that period of time. So again, it gives you a lot of good information. It gives you some news that Simply Wall Street curate or actually puts together for you. I wish it did have some industry news or other sources, which they have in the main dashboard with some of the different sources from Seeking Alpha or, again, other publications. Here it's, I think, actually automated, in fact, where they take a lot of the fundamentals and they put it into a readable format. So I'm just going to scroll through all of this here so you can get an idea of the kind of information you get, and it's quite a bit. There's a lot to unpack here, more than I'm going to obviously talk about in this video. This again is just to give you a quick overview, and I realize as I'm making this video, it's maybe not that quick of an overview, but hopefully it's really good information and it gives you a good sense for what all this platform can provide. And like I mentioned, it's simple. It's very visual, and it's also very comprehensive. Think about it this way too. As an investor and as someone who may not have a lot of time on your hands, you don't have to go into every single detail of this analysis. You don't have to deep dive into every metric. My recommendation is to focus on the metrics that for you are most important, that you really want to pay attention to, and depending on your investing style and your preferences and financial goals, that's going to dictate a little bit more the metrics you focus on. And since I won't be going into a ton more detail, I will, however, be doing future stock analysis and research based on this platform. This is going to be the meat and potatoes of how I review stocks. So hopefully you like what you see here. And if you want to see more information like this, or if you want to that analysis, do make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what you saw, again, like I mentioned earlier, hit the like button. It helps out quite a bit. So folks, there's the platform with some of the key features that I really think make this platform unique and something worth using. And again, make sure to check out the description below. I've got that link for your 14-day free trial of their unlimited plan where you can check out as many stocks as you want. And once you do that, let me know what you think of the platform once you've got to try it out a little bit, or based on whatever it is you saw here in this video. Would love to know what your favorite feature is, so do definitely leave a comment down below. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.